Good evening. I'm going to call this meeting to order. This is a meeting of the School Committee's Building and Finance Subcommittee. Today is Monday, April 28, 2025. The time is 6:01 p.m. We are meeting here in person at the Gloucester High School Library located at 32 Leslie O. Johnson Road in Gloucester. These meetings are recorded effective August 16, 2023. The public is welcome to attend our meetings in person. Alternatively, the public may attend through the Zoom link listed on the agenda. The meeting notice will reflect that this meeting is in Zoom only. As the recent amendments to the open meeting law allows, the subcommittee may continue to hold meetings remotely. Please note that the in-person meeting will not be suspended or terminated if technological problems interrupt the remote connection. We'll start off with introductions and we'll start on this side of the room.
Stephanie DeLisi, recording secretary.
Bill Melvin, School Committee.
Kathy Clancy, School Committee. Melissa Friend, School Committee.
Mike Jarvis, Director of Special Education.
And Loma Superintendent.
Gary Frisch, CFO.
Cody Marshall, Finance Director.
Thank you all. We are going to start off with the Chief Financial Officer's report. I'm going to hand this over to Gary.
Thank you. Okay, we're gonna put that up in 1 second. There we go. Flip to the next page. So we're gonna cover tonight state budget update, FY25 budget update, FY26 budget book review, budget transfers, and the construction project O'Malley windows. So that's what we have on our plate for tonight. And let's get right into the state budget update.
Stephanie, can you just hit just make that a little
Yes.
smaller? Thank you.
Okay, we had talked about this at a previous BNF meeting. How the circuit breaker funding for the reimbursement for out-of-district transportation was prorated down from 75% down to 44%. That was significant money for the district. There's a bill, House Bill 4005, and it has two pieces amongst others that resonate with us. That is for FY25. They're requesting a supplemental budget of $58 million to pay for circuit breaker funding to move the percentage 44% to a higher percentage. That would help out greatly depending upon how much, if that passes, and how much ultimately they put into the budget for the circuit breaker. As well as they have a also put in for $40 million for FY26 for the same purpose of increasing the out-of-district transportation funding so that they can get it closer to the 75%, which is the statutory amount. So stay tuned, and we will provide more updates as we find out more information.
Currently, the House is, for FY26, the House is considering its FY26 budget. I don't believe they've come to a final resolution. They've accepted amendments, I believe, and deliberating. It does look like there's some initial Chapter 70 money in there, but there's also some reduction in payments to the city related to education. So that might be a wash. Okay, but and also it's just part of the process, the House and then the Senate, obviously. But as the mayor said, if there's increases in Chapter 70, those would come to the schools. So we'll keep a close eye on that. And then I'm hoping for these dollars to come through as Gary was describing, your FY25 dollars. I mean, the first supplemental budget would be FY25 dollars.
And that money's earmarked for transportation, correct?
Right.
And so when you're, the 44% is transportation only, not tuition.
Yeah, because the tuition was at 75%, so that's a statutory amount. So the 44% was pretty low.
Very.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. Let's talk about FY25 budget. And this is what we typically look at each and every meeting of the BNEP committee. And let's look at the out of district tuition. So for March, the estimate has gone down a couple $100,000. We had Rosalie that used to work for us has worked for us for 20 years and she retired. She came back because we had an opening, temporary opening in the business office. And she was able to review from the start of the fiscal year and review all the ins and outs. As you know, students change placements, and then there's out of district placement. So there's a lot of moving parts to this. And she was able to see that, confirm that we're about $200,000 less, a little less than 200,000 less than what we had projected in February. So that is, that's a plus. And for the available budget for the total, after considering anticipated new growth and any contingency, we're expecting about 619,000 to be available by the end of the year. So that's better than what we had in the past year. As you know, the budget really skyrocketed. So this is definitely moving in the right direction. So let's look at,
Can I ask a question to that?
absolutely.
Do we still have students waiting?
We have 3 students waiting. And those numbers now are much lower because there's only a few months left in the fiscal year.
Right,
But
the
we're
chances
holding,
are they won't be placed this time of year.
There's a high possibility of
I-
that.
Yeah.
Because of full placements.
Yeah.
Options,
Okay,
so great.
If they are placed now, then obviously for the full year next year, and so we're still anticipating budgeting for those students for the full year for next year.
right,
Even though, as Mike and Gabriel said, as it's gotten later in the year, their costs for this year, if they were placed, are much lower. 'Cause
and
obviously-
that's why we have the 619.
Right.
And that's 619, that's available, correct, or is that?
Well, yeah, at the end of they'll be projected at the end of this fiscal year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, available.
But we didn't over project, we just had students that weren't placed, and that's why the money's there.
Right. And
Is that
it's,
fair statement?
Yeah, I think,
Yeah.
also,
Yeah.
we got 3 students right now who are replaced and 2 who are have a change of placement within district,
Okay,
potentially go out of district,
okay,
so I think we're judicious. And I think, the result of that is that going into next year, we have a stronger transportation position than we've had in a couple of years.
I just want it to be known that we're not over projecting, right?
No,
So
it's anything. And the fact of the matter is, we had under projected prior 2 years. I mean, under projected and had, and also having, much more growth.
Right.
In expenses and placements, cost of placements than we anticipated, and we did not want to go there again. Because at that point, we had no reserve fund. We still have a reserve fund, but we potentially can have one for next year.
yeah, I think, Ben was really smart in saying, let's make sure that this year we don't under project like we did in the previous years. And so we have a little 619, is still not a lot of money.
No,
As you know, one student could be a residential, which is around 400 to 500,000. So, these are definitely costly placements. So let's move on to the transportation. A few additional routes were added. We're looking about 80,000 additional from the February estimate, which still leaves us at the end of the fiscal year, we're projecting a little over $900,000. So between the two, it's about 1.5 million. And then keep note of that number. We'll see that number come across as we go down the slide deck. And I'll alert you to the 1.5 coming up again. So can we move right along here? You know, we've been talking about the operating fund. But there's also two places where we spend money for placements. One, the operating fund, like we just went over. But the second one is the revolving fund, which is where the circuit breaker balance is. And we started the fiscal year at a little over $2 million. We added the circuit breaker claim for FY25, which was $2 million. We had some actual expenditures and encumbrances. Now we're projecting an ending balance of a little over $800,000. In addition, we did put in a claim for extraordinary relief. And that potentially could be $400,000.
Or you put in for, tell them, we put in for more than that, though, correct?
Yeah,
So what do we, I guess, apply for, or,
Under the formula.
yeah, we apply for, so let me just walk you through how this works. So a residential placement is, let's say it's 400,000. Anything over the threshold is about $53,000. So you only get credit for the amount that is over the threshold. And so that's, let's say that's $350,000. Well, then you apply the 75% against the 350, and that's how much claim you get per individual. Now, listen to this. If and some of our claims are for residential, a few of them, but a lot of them are for public placements, which we go to the co-op, and the co-op typically charges for the low end about $53,000. So you apply the threshold against the 53, that's a zero. So in that instance, even though we're spending 53,000, we're getting nothing.
Where's
So-
the co-op?
the consortium?
Consortium. So it's really important, it's just, you know, you have to look at the makeup of the total dollars.
Do we submit, for extraordinary relief, do we submit claims above $4,000?
Our estimate, you submit all the claims and they determine how much it is. So we did everyone that exceeded the $53,000.
That was done in March, correct?
And that was done in March, and
That was
we'll find
February.
out in May sometime.
Yeah.
And so on the high set,
We submit, we should join $2,000 in claims. Let me see, how many
No,
dollars?
we-
yeah, I was gonna get to it. So we estimate it's gonna be about 600,000. But we're being very cautious and conservative, and we think we'll at least we should get 400,000 at the very least. So that's why I'm saying 400,000 and not the higher end. But it could go from a range of 400 to 600.
So the claim is 600, but you anticipate we'll get 400.
No,
That's the return.
I'm being conservative.
And it depends on how many people apply, right?
We don't want to project or anticipate we get $600,000 and
Yeah.
not get that.
Yeah.
Because if we only get $4,000, that's a lot of money,
Right.
you know, in terms of this projection, so.
Yeah.
What did we get last year? Do you
We
remember?
did get about 392,000.
And we had more or less claims, That was higher.
Again, it's really the makeup of the claims.
right, exactly,
This
availability of
fiscal year, we have more residential,
okay.
which then provides a higher claim reimbursement.
So our claim this year is higher than last
We
year.
believe it's gonna be higher than last year.
Sorry, question.
Yeah, but we'll let you know in May.
Mhm.
And that's right around the corner. But so the 1.280 is what we're projecting, and that includes 400,000 from the extraordinary claim. So any questions on that? That's a little tough concept.
What's the timing in May? If they,
I'm thinking, towards the end of May. But I'm anxious to find out.
Do they have to do the supplemental budget by then? To figure this out?
This one, they already have a separate funding
Okay.
mechanism for this. But the
But the
supplemental,
funding of the,
the extraordinary,
yeah,
they already have a
it's
budget,
already, okay.
yeah. So let's, without further ado, let's move on to the next one. Again, here's that 1.5 that pops up, 1.5 million. That is the budget gonna be available, and we're gonna tell you how we're gonna allocate that money. Most of that 1.5 is due to the out-of-district tuition and out-of-district transportation. Then we have a little bit of money from other line items, but end of the but we're projecting 1.5. Now we're gonna show you how we're gonna spend that 1.5. And we spend it primarily for next year's budget. If we didn't have this additional money, we would have been and we would have had a tough time balancing the budget for FY 26.
Gary, can you go back to the previous slide?
Sure.
So where does the 1004 come from?
That's a combination of actually, if you look at the out-of-district tuition and transportation, the sum of that is about $1.4 million. That comes from, if you scroll back to our out-of-district expenditures, we'll show you. So 600 and 900. The next one. So it's coming primarily from these two budgets.
But the lines don't seem to,
Yeah, that's because there's some there's you can pay for it out of two different buckets. And sometimes I'm spending more money out of one bucket than and spending the balance out of the operating fund. So I have a choice between operating and the work in the revolving fund,
The circuit breaker.
Circuit breaker, right.
circuit breaker.
So what matters there is that the balance is the same, but we can change which source it comes from. And here we're trying to make sure that we have the right amount of prepay for next year, which will come out of the operating.
We also have some one-time expenditures that will help us pay for items that we don't have to budget for in FY 2026. So let's look at those one-time expenditures. Chromebooks.
Okay,
Yeah.
mine's dead.
Yeah. Okay, duly noted. Cameras, repeaters, the cameras, those are at 3 different schools. The high school, O'Malley, and the West Parish.
And both those are security related cameras for security purposes, but then the repeaters as well. Repeaters help the walkie-talkies go to all parts of the building. The lift for Beeman is about accessibility, so that hasn't been working since before I got here. We've been trying to get capital dollars to repair it. Can use this. We finally have a quote on it after trying to get a quote for years. Gary's able to secure one, a couple of quotes I think. And so hoping to do that work. That may or may not be able to be done this year, but we're trying to get that done in FY 25, but may have to, because of the late school year, may not be able to. That might, some might make a further adjustment.
So are we out of compliance without it, EDA?
I don't know.
Maybe
It was
an
retro,
alternative?
sorry, we do, it goes outside the building, okay, but we have never had a need until this year when 2 different students were injured. And because of that, needed the lift, which didn't have. They're in wheelchairs at different times of the year for part of the year. So that really gave us a push.
But we
But-
have
but I-
a student now that needs it, those were due to injuries.
Yeah, I don't think we do right now. Sorry.
Yeah,
I lost
that's
track of
okay.
it. But it's not about being non-compliant, I believe, because it was added to the building, after construction. But it's something we want to have and so here, how we get stuff.
And did we find out about the one that was at St. Anne's that we bought,
Yeah, these are
modified?
modified, customized
Okay.
for the particular area. So, yeah, we had the vendor come out, take a look at it, and then give us a quote. We had 3 different quotes. And we're going with the top, the best brand, which happens to be very competitive.
Born in the USA, no tariffs.
Oh,
I'm not sure of that, but they're not gonna pass the tariffs on to us. So that was one was.
Okay.
And this one isn't. So that's why we're going with this one. But good question. Okay, so let's move on to budget transfers. We're gonna need a motion like, as we always do. This one, we're increasing the business office professional services for legal fees. And then we had some additional money in unemployment. And so we're taking it from the unemployment budget. And so it's $8,500. Typically, we bring to you anything over $8,000. And the second one is they're transforming the lab into a classroom, and it happens to be this one behind the library, right down the hall. And we took the money from the facilities budget. We had a reduction in the facilities budget, well, a reduction, but we spent the warranty in another bucket, so we had the money available in this line item. So that's where we're decreasing the amount.
Question on the legal fees, is that from the strike?
No, it's a different legal attorney.
special education probably.
Yes,
Especially special
Yes.
education attorney. We haven't had to use the attorney as much this year
last year.
because Mike is well versed. So now I haven't had a consultant as much. But this did decrease or increase?
Sorry.
No, it
I
increased.
thought
We're paying
I thought we
for,
were paying legal
Oh,
fees.
it was an
It's an
investigation.
increase.
Oh, thank you. Okay, yeah, yeah.
Say, oh. thank you.
Investigation
Rob,
into
yeah.
Title I.
I don't know, yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, do you wanna take this?
I move that we accept the transfers as presented, or recommend to the full school committee the transfers as presented.
Thank you.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, vote carries.
Thank you.
Okay,
Okay, we'll move on to the Millie window project. Okay, so, we're doing Ellie.
When the library looked beautiful, the dome.
That's great, right? Yeah, it's excellent.
that
Really
worked.
nice, really nice. Yeah, that's been installed for a while.
Haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's great. So we're approaching substantial completion on the project. It hasn't been declared yet. It'll be declared by the project manager at left field shortly. Because this was the update prior to the break, so I'll explain that in a moment. The louvers have been installed in the cafeteria and the roof completed there, so we're waiting for those louvers to be built. And that took quite some time, but they were built and installed, and that required completing the last bit of the roofing around those two areas. One's in the the kitchen and one's above the cafeteria. The punch list is almost entirely complete. So there's retainage that the owner's product manager, or we hold back, I should say, we hold back. In case any contractor sort of abandons a project before it's been completed. So that's, I think that's 5% of the total budget for the contractor. We've released half of that now. We still have, the remainder of the retained left, which is $135,000, in case something. And that's money we owe them for work done, but we hold it back in case they, don't complete the project. Student reporting leaks have been identified over the past few months. Some of those have been fixed by DPW. Those will be paid for Lambrian as long as DPW provides an invoice, which we, met with them as recently as Thursday for vacation to remind them in that. And then Lambrian was supposed to fix leaks in the northeast southwest corners above the commons over vacation. They were there, they done that, just haven't got a report from left field about, is it completed, is it done, that sort of stuff. But that was expected to be done over the break. And then 3 interior doors need to be adjusted, the door closures need to be adjusted, they were fully closing. And then we have to follow up with, DPW also adjust some of those. And they need to tell us in left field which ones were adjusted and what the costs were of that too. Then we reimburse them.
So didn't we have problems with the louvers before? Isn't that what was built wrong?
No, it was bigger than that. I mean, those had to be remade because of the initial lack of measurement or
Those weren't
mismeasurement.
louvers?
What's that?
I thought they were called the louvers.
No, all the blocking, in terms of what the sills that the windows were placed on had to be rebuilt,
Okay,
okay?
and they did that?
Yeah,
Remember we were,
they did all that, but we'll get to that in a moment, okay, just an update on that. The louvers then had to be rebuilt because the measurements were off,
right,
so that's why they, had to, that's why it took some time. I mean, that's why they needed rebuilt, and it took time for them to be rebuilt, longer than we anticipated.
And because the DPW is involved, made some fixes, is there any type of warranty, like now that the DPW's fixed something, what if something goes wrong?
Oh, right.
Is Lambrian on the hook for that?
Yeah, they'll still have the same warranty, which I think is a year, at least a year, on installation. And then also beyond that, I think anyway, there's a typical warranty, I'm not gonna be able to recite it right now, but that doesn't impact that at all.
Okay.
Answer your question, no, it doesn't. And that'll start from substantial completion.
Yep.
Even though the project, has been, most of the project has been completed for quite some time. So this is something that's come up about from the MSBA, and so a lot of moving parts here, so I'll try to explain as best I can and have to answer questions. So initially, the city authorized a loan for $6.5 million in the project. Okay. At that point, the total cost of the project was $6.6 million. The city only made a loan order for $6.5 million because the schools had already paid for $110,000 of design work that needed to get going prior to us having a PFA, a project funding agreement, all right? Which was all fine, and we were able to get going early because of that, and because if folks remember, there was a time crunch on this. We had, done the bids, say in January, and we're trying to start in June, okay? And so we put forth from our budget $110,000 to get things going, okay? As the MSBA has, continued to look at the finances of the project, they realized that there was discrepancy between the loan order by the city and the total project budget. $110,000 difference, because we paid upfront, basically, okay? So they need the city to rectify that by extending the loan order by $110,000, okay? Left field has been talking to Suzanne Egan about this, about what it is and how to do it, that sort of thing. We're gonna need a motion from the city council to do so, okay? It doesn't impact any cost because, of course, the city of Gloucester is not paying 6.5 or $6.6 million for this project. We're paying, I think it's around $3 million, okay? So it doesn't affect our costs, doesn't increase them, okay? It's basically an accounting thing to ensure compliance with MSBA. Right? So we are trying to get nailed down exactly what the city council needs from us in order to vote. Okay. We're not sure about that quite yet. I believe the city school committee will have to vote to request that of the city council. Okay. I guess the question is, I'm not sure if you should wait on what that language is, or we should go forward with the language we have, which is here. Which I think should be enough to direct, I mean, you're basically, you want to advise the school committee to make this motion. Right, and then we have the motion, make sure we have the motion, just as we need to by Wednesday, basically. That makes sense?
Absolutely. I think we should do it now.
I move that we recommend to the full school
Okay.
committee, to request that the city of Gloucester city council, right?
Oh, sorry, yep, thank you, sorry, yeah.
That the city council appropriate the amount of $110,000 as directed by the MSBA. So the total amount allocated by the city reflects the true total project cost for the window/door replacement project at O'Malley Middle School.
To be 6.5 million.
6.6.
For a total of $6.6 million.
We have a motion and a second. So this is just us recommending to the committee that they take this vote on Wednesday to recommend to the city council to fix this accounting situation.
I don't remember when we did the roofs, but I somehow in my head, I think there might have been, when we did roofs, we had to do a similar.
Really?
Well, I mean, back to, not, like here we're adjusting it, but they did the first part, which is they requested 6.5, but the only issue is that they didn't acknowledge the 110.
Right,
But
Right.
I remember, like, the loan has to be the whole thing,
Right,
not just our share of the
Right.
piece. So that's all we're asking council
right.
to do.
All in favor? Should we do
Right.
that? Aye. Okay,
okay, so then the next piece on O'Malley, and this is, it's hard, these need to be separated, because they seem like they're together, but they're not, they're both the loan order here and change order 17, pension change order 17. Pension change order 17 is what Melissa was asking about before, which is, the ongoing work on what Lambrian did when they didn't understand fully what delegated design was. Okay, delegated design is where the contractor completes the design work that the architects have handed them by confirming specific measurements, essentially. Okay? They did not do this accurately or in a timely manner, and because of that caused additional work and additional costs for rebuilding the sills, and the blocking upon which the windows rest. Okay. Lambrian, for this potential change order, submitted a change order of $272,000, or OPM, and we believe that $54,000 of that is valid. Okay. We have authorized them to pay that much, I believe we have.
the
Yes,
54,000.
54,000, okay, so we're not holding that back, okay. There's a discrepancy of just over $200,000 that has to be resolved, okay. It depends, first of all, if Lambrian comes back and disputes it, which they have not yet. So that's sort of waiting out there, okay. We don't believe in any way, shape, or form it'll go up, so we'll be held responsible for that balance. I don't know how it's gonna sort out at this point, basically. That's where we are in the process. Just.
Who do we bring in to look at the issue to determine whether there can be potential issues in the future because of the lack of appropriate measurements? In other words, this issue, can there be problems in a future that's sooner than if he had done the job right? Like, how are we
Yeah,
evaluating that?
so we're
Before we sign off on anything.
depending on, as we always do, when part of this is the designer and the project manager, okay? Them checking the work of the engineers, of the contractors, okay? We've also, talked to Mike Hale about how can we ensure that this, that the leaks don't happen, that sort of stuff, okay? So we can continue to work on that process with that field, and along the way, they've, confirmed that, they've supported the work that's been being done, it's been handled by the commissioning agent, that sort of stuff. So beyond those normal um, avenues, we have no further avenue, that we're pursuing. But as I said before, all the warranties and, the warranties will be in place, including the warranty, because the way the work was on the warranty on the roof replacement, from maybe 10 years ago or 12 years ago, is still intact as well. Okay,
So I guess I'm thinking of the project when we did down the high school in the field. And there was a
the field house,
field,
okay,
there was an issue with the grade of grass that was put in. It wasn't what we had expected.
uh-huh,
And we were able, through a settlement, to extend warranties.
okay,
So I'm wondering if it's that this is a situation for this. That's why I asked. So I would just, in your conversations with the DPW, if they take ownership of this, if they're signing off that everything was done completely, I would just suggest that there's an extension of warranties in that discussion. Unless they're completely satisfied, we're not gonna have any issues due to the wrong measurements and whatever fix came about. Because wasn't that what happened? They measured wrong?
yeah.
Yeah.
But
And
then-
I
but-
get things happen. I'm not saying.
No, but I mean, just like, from there, they, I mean, they had our architect review it,
Mhm.
their engineer review it, so we'll certainly ask DPW. I
Yeah,
just don't know if DPW had the expertise to know and to assess whether or not that work was done.
well, somebody should before we're signing off to it, right?
But that's why we have the project
The
manager
project
and the
manager.
designer.
So I would ask him.
Yeah,
Right, okay.
yeah, no, we continue to push hard on them.
Mhm.
About, that's why we held off on substantial completion,
Mhm.
because we don't want, we
Right.
need to be guaranteed that, but we can ask further about extending warranties.
Extending the warranty
That's what we
just in
have.
that area. As a resolution, if we're gonna end up paying more than the 54,000. Because they were asking for 272, correct?
Right,
Right, and then,
So if they want more money, we want more warranty. Happy to negotiate that way.
could, I'd rather have no more money
Right.
and regular warranties,
We'd rather have what?
no more money
No more,
in the
exactly.
regular warranties.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
maybe until something goes wrong.
No, I was just, you kind of said what I was thinking, like, I mean, at some point, does this go to litigation or does it kind of get?
Yeah, and ultimately, that's where it can go. It can
Not a
go,
lot of money.
yeah, it can go to those, and it be resolved to that. That's ultimately, I think it probably goes to arbitration, I'm not quite
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
But, no, that's where these disputes, go,
Yeah.
ultimately. But again, as I said, the name rate is not disputed this yet.
Yeah.
They've been slow on many, many things, so this could be another thing that being slow on.
Yeah.
You know,
How long have they had that $54,000 number,
I think they've had that, probably since last month, relatively recently.
Yeah.
Because we approved saying, go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
They've known, we and left field have known that about the $54,000 for a while.
Yeah.
In, a few months, but just authorized them to go ahead and pay it,
Yeah.
just recently.
But you don't need action from us on this.
No, I can continue to update you on it as we have since we first learned about this, in summer of 2023. Alright, FY 2026. So, what we're gonna show you tonight isn't much new. We're gonna remind you of a few things, but this is the goal tonight is to approve the budget, recommend the budget to the school committee. That would be the public hearing budget. Okay, and we'll go over those numbers here. So, again, where are we headed? Continue to strengthen instruction, student learning and achievement. Making the student belonging. Strengthen special education practices. We're doing a lot in this budget, support all the learners, also doing a lot on the budget in this. And continue to move annual recurring expenditures from grants and COVID relief to operating budget. Also doing that as well. We're gonna invest in 2026, so the operating budget general fund, special education, essential curriculum and operational resources. And then grants, expand high school opportunities and strengthen K-8 science through, in grants. Then the strengthening special education, we're working on this quite a bit, both reporting to school committee, keeping updated, but also in all schools, especially elementary schools. So launching inclusion and co-teaching in a measured way. That includes a couple of new grades at each elementary school. And its veterans maybe only one grade, maybe two. The teachers in the second grade are really considering it. So we're not sure, but they want to go forward, but we'll see about that. The second grade its veterans. Service and support, so developing our reading services and our related services and our behavior support. In a a more limited way. And then really quite a bit of investment in just right programs. Particularly emotional behavioral programs at elementary and middle school. And then try and strengthen our autism programs for the elementary and middle school as well. And then starting a new language skills program at the middle school. That's based on the need of students who are moving up from elementary to middle school.
So the other,
Ben, sorry,
go ahead.
no, I was just gonna ask Ben, could you go over the number of, the rollout on the co-teaching, what was it, second grade at one school?
Yeah, so it's a combination of things, as you know, when Mike first presented in February, at the beginning of the budget process, sort of laid out, or he laid out rather, some of the little things we're trying to do with, by developing an inclusion and co-teaching program. And when we have a program, I mean, like, that's our approach, okay? At that point, we knew that we were gonna work with the schools to figure out, what sort of measured, limited way we'd start, okay? Because it's, it's co-teaching and inclusion is never simple. Any practice in schools is never simple. But at that point, we didn't know. But since then, he has worked with program leaders, principals have worked with their special education staff. Mike has met with special education staff. We've met with union leaders, okay? And more or less how it's sorting out now is that at Plumco, 2 grade levels will be doing it. Okay,
Do you know what grade levels of that?
Third and fifth,
and,
Third and fifth.
third and fifth.
and, 3rd grade is 1 teacher, and that's the cohort that's moving up, only 1 grade for 1 class for that whole grade.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, that's the one.
yeah, that's 1 class this next year. And then, Dan Jewett, released, and have been working with the staff on this, okay, and then released to them Friday with vacation, schedules folks will have, how much time the co-teachers will, the special education teachers will be in the various classrooms in 3rd and 5th, you said? 3rd and 5th, okay, so they have those details, okay? At East Veterans, 1 grade is going to be, moving forward. Very good,
That has been announced to me yet.
okay, all right.
That was what, Mike?
Has not been announced to me yet, what grade?
Okay.
So you're letting them,
Yeah, they're dictating.
they're dictating,
Yeah.
meaning who's that?
So each school really is doing this in a nuanced way so that it gains. traction.
Collaboration up,
Exactly right.
to bottom up.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
So we haven't,
Wanna hear it.
what we've said is, 2 grades.
Yeah.
At every elementary school, except for East Veterans, which is 1 grade, and 1 grade East Veterans is the same number of teachers or, as East Veterans as, or more, as plumbing 2 grades up, okay? But what we know is that by working with the staff there, that Matt Fusco and Trina Satara and Christy Lambert are thinking definitely 1 grade and possibly 2nd. But the teachers are working that through if they want, some of the teachers want to go forward with it. Some may not, and so they're working that through, no final decisions. What's really important here is at each of the schools, the principals have been working with special education staff to figure this out, okay? In a collaborative way.
So that was gonna be my question. If we don't know, how do we know what to budget for? If it's gonna be 1 or 2 grades?
It wouldn't offset any of the proposed budget.
Okay.
And then, that's what we budget, that's what we
Right.
budget for, is 2 grades per school.
Okay.
And 1 grade at veterans. And then,
Okay, but you just said there could be 2 grades at East Veterans.
they have the staff in there.
They already have the staff.
So what it would look like, it would be doing business as what has gone on. So instead of having the services go to the children in the inclusion environment that is co-teaching, they'd be pulling kids out. So either way, the staff
The
is
staff's
required.
there,
Yeah, so it wouldn't offset the budget.
Okay, got it.
West Parish is gonna be doing grades 2 through 5 in math. So they're doing more grades, but only in math. Okay. And then Beaman has already been doing co-teaching in 4th and 5th grade. They're already doing this. And they're adding 2nd and 3rd.
Add in second and third.
So Beaman will probably be the first fully implemented.
Yeah.
So,
So,
so I like that, obviously, there's discussions at the school level and at school, but we had co-teaching at Veterans for a long time. So
Way to go.
I'm wondering why the reticence to not do this more widespread. It doesn't mean everybody, but, and I understand, hesitation to see how it works, to see whatever, but some of those teachers experienced it already.
Yeah. Which is why there's a push of desire to go a little faster in 1 grade.
Are you sure about that? What do you mean?
Meaning, we're only requiring 1 grade to move forward, okay?
Yeah,
Okay, but that's why there's another grade, the teachers in that other grade are interested in going forward.
okay,
Because of just what you're describing.
Okay.
Okay, before the two schools merged, okay?
Yep.
They had taken, I don't know if it's a vote, they decided as a faculty to move towards co-teaching. Okay, so again, it's not something out of the blue. Now, we had sort of put that on pause as we got things up and going, and then also because last year, the real hit to East Veterans got a significant hit in terms of staffing.
right,
Okay, so that also put a pause on that. So now we're building back from that.
Yep.
Okay, so you are right.
and there's a lot going on at a school that's combined
Yeah.
in terms of knowledge of each other and how they're working with, different newer colleagues, but, anyway, it's just, and, maybe they're just slower to, adopt or kind of wanna try that different model, but, so we'll see how it goes. And it's like a lot of things, we, rolled out implementation of different curriculums slower, and as certain people get used to it, help other people come along.
Yeah.
There's a lot more buy-in. Buy-in is obviously important.
Professional development doesn't come first, it's the announcement comes first, budget comes first, and then the professional development will then follow. So there's that lag time, I think, of uncertainty, and I think that's what I'm feeling some of the staff are feeling. It's that uncertainty.
Hard to get a good sense of what that is and how much, because the principal are working with their staff, their buildings, okay, and we're supporting principals in this and, as we always do. But no, I think it's really hard to gauge exactly what the discomfort is.
I think we'll find out Wednesday night.
No, but again, even that will be a slice,
Right.
okay, and that's what's difficult is, but, what we're confident in is that we'll not only, begin with, professional development for those folks who are doing, or implementing next year, next week. We'll also let them know how that'll continue through next year and beyond. As we say, we always want to support, make sure people are clear on what their responsibilities are, expectations are, provide them with support to know how to do it well, okay, and continue that, just like we've done with wisdom. Okay, just like the high school's been working on professional development, on cultural responsive teaching for years, okay, and we continue to get that support, and we do that in this as well.
Bill, I know you have some
Yeah,
questions.
there's two things. One is, the most important thing I heard, Ben, is principals and staff working it out and working together. So it's staff driven, led by the principal kind of overseeing that, but
Yeah, I would say
staff driven,
I would
right.
say, collaborating with staff.
yeah, collaboration.
Yep.
The other thing that I
And just, Bill, the reason for that is because, the schools know both, the students where they can move on this, because they gotta redo IEPs over time, okay? The staff and who's, most, ready for it, like, has experience in it, right? And their capacity, for change, so like, that can't be done from us. It never was
Right.
intended to be, it never has been.
Right.
But we are, like, this is the right approach, okay? It's not new to the district, like I said, Beam has done it, Veterans has done it in the past, you were here at the high school, okay? But it certainly is, a change that's really needed, so that we're not continuing to chase kids, from general education into small groups outside of it, providing services. Okay? Because what happens then again and again is then they are kept from general instruction. Okay, they need both. General instruction and then also additional time.
And the feedback, I mean, how long has Beam been doing fourth and fifth grade? You know that?
Forever.
So I don't know
Forever.
about that.
Yeah, I think this is their third year, I
Well,
don't.
not
remember
forever,
that.
yeah, but
No, but because they started
Been a while.
moving towards it and including, and doing much more co-teaching, I believe it was 2 years ago, so I think this is the third
Coming out
year,
of
but it might be the
COVID.
second.
Yeah, okay.
And that was, based on, President Jody and her staff working together to sort it through.
And the feedback has been positive about it,
Yeah,
from the
yeah,
staff.
yeah. The feedback here from the high school is positive, which is the high school level, because of the specialization of content area. It's the most challenging grade levels to institute co-teaching. And so I did a PD in the fall, it was great. It was just, I got great feedback from the collaboration that goes on from day-to-day practice, belief, and including kids. Just such a good experience for me.
Learning about how they're doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they learn from the PD too.
And just because I'm curious, and it's just a general question, I'm not getting an exact answer to it. When you look at from the 10,000-foot view and you say, okay, here is co-teaching. Give me one potential downside to it. What would you say? Is there anything that you look at and say, that could be a problem area with co-teaching?
Co-teaching, the only thing I'd say, it does eat up staff a little bit. It can eat up staff.
What do you mean by that?
So you can, so you have kids in a classroom or two classrooms. And you can get a consolidation of kids, and then, so the teacher can't be in two classrooms at the same time. So depending on what your demand is, it could take a lot of personnel.
Yeah.
But it's done
When
by
you say, you mean you may need additional staff.
men, yeah.
Yeah.
And so the way we're rolling it out is it's having a focus in on ELA
Yeah.
and in math,
Yeah.
and not just in the classroom, full classroom experience, because it just would transcend any budget.
Thank you. That's not an easy question. It's not a trap question. I just.
Yeah.
And why would West Parish do math only? They feel that that's where they can benefit best from this right now.
That's the feedback I heard, that they have some staff members that are really buying into inclusion model of co-teaching, and then it's their skill set. So it's a good place to start, place of strength.
two concerns, questions or statements or something to get feedback from. So announcement first, then budget, right, which are pretty much happening, the budgets are happening now. Ability to hire, to me, that's a big question mark. Do you feel confident in I know there's another page coming up of the positions that you want to hire, but
That's irrelevant model,
the what?
irrelevant model. The challenge that hires and state managers doesn't have to do the model.
No, I'm saying like, well, you have concerns, right? And we're trying something new, and we're committing to something new, right? So announcement came first, budget is second, we're doing budgeting. Once we do the budget, then it's the ability to hire, right? Like, can we hire these positions? Yes, we can
Yeah.
afford to hire them,
Right.
but can we actually get a person to come and apply and come in the building, right? Teachers shortages everywhere, right? So I'm just asking, this is my concern, right?
Okay, but
We
I don't
give you the
want
money.
to, I don't want to link it to the approach.
No,
Oh, okay, good, great.
no, I'm just thinking, following the process through, right?
Yeah.
Step one, step two, and then we hire. So do you feel confident that,
So I think.
I mean, not that you have a crystal ball or
Right,
anything, but that's, I
right.
mean, we couldn't hire some people this year,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So,
it's multi-pronged, right?
Yeah.
So it's building relationships and continue to build relationships with local institutions of higher learning.
Yeah.
Right, there's that level. There's just got great feedback on a job fair that was reported.
okay,
So,
What we did on Thursday.
so we're doing some
at
work
BU.
for that, okay.
yeah, so I think changing the approaches and really trying to invest in those kinds of approaches is gonna be the way to do that.
Right,
Right, we can't just post and expect, oh yeah, we're gonna get a bunch of applicants, because that may or may not happen.
right.
And
So-
then and so also, so yes, it is probably our number one concern. Okay, in terms of hiring and getting all the candidates, okay.
But I just wanna hear like.
So let me add to this, because Mike is right, Roberta Eason and Amy Pascarello and Dave Pomeroy and Brittany Holmes all collaborated on our first job fair of any consequence for a long time, okay? It was at BU, folks from all over the country were there, or you mean, school district.
Yeah.
Gene, not good. Gene.
And Gene, and Gene was there too as well, right? Gene Merrill. And so, thank you, Marty. And, met over 50 people, interviewed, about 5 or 6.
Okay.
Okay, and passed those names on to principals, really strong candidates, some of those are special education.
So these people at the job fair are interested
Yes,
in looking for positions?
We had
Okay.
a great table of, of all sorts of different things to attract those attention and then bring them in, pull them in. Our team did a great job. Like I said, I pass those names of folks we met and resumes, all the principals, they're pursuing speech and language. Okay, that's special education. At least one other, really, I think those are the primary ones, all difficult to fill. Candidates for all of them, and for those types of positions, okay? Also, just for the break, we're talking to our parent leaders about how to get them information that they can then put to their networks. And really trying to work with GTA and our teachers in terms of and GAPE in terms of them passing on. Okay, what, for example, one of the people at the job fair came to a coffee table because she knows someone who works there.
Okay.
And she's heard her working, right? But like, we need people to talk about the great things that are working here, the great things about the city. Okay, because it's challenging in every school district, but we have some huge strengths. Okay, and one of them is the folks who work here are devoted to the city and devoted to our families. That does not happen, but that connection, that drive doesn't happen. And like, we've got to work together to get the word out positively.
Absolutely. And then my second concern, so this commitment to the co-teaching model. So this year, it appears that we're going in a good direction with our budget, working with the mayor's office and where we're gonna land at the end of this year's budget. So going forward, who knows who's gonna be on the committee next year, because it's an election year. But what is the level of commitment to the co-teaching model? In other words, if there are cuts to the budget like we experienced last year, or maybe not as drastic as last year, but even just a little bit of what we experienced last year, is that commitment to co-teaching still able to go forward, right? And can we follow through, I guess? And again, there's no crystal ball, but I just feel like I need to hear that this is important and this is the path that we're on. And don't want to hear, oh, we got cut $1 million, so that means we're reverting back.
Are you
Right.
suggesting a cut to this year or?
No, I'm saying next year, right? So this year it appears as it is right now, God only knows how budgets are gonna end up with the result of the federal government triggering cuts and whatever's going on in the world. But I'm not hearing I'm not hearing how important this is as a priority. I mean, I know you're here and you're putting this forward, so clearly is this a priority? Is this a goal?
It's the most
that-
effective way
Okay,
to support and teach with educated students
Okay.
and disabilities,
all
okay?
right, yep,
We should have been doing this, we need to be doing it,
okay,
and and we need to prioritize it.
Okay.
And all the indicators show we're not doing a good enough job yet.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got to do a better job, this is the way, done well. Okay, and it's gonna take investment, both in positions, okay, but also professional development and support. But it is the most effective way to do it. And we need to do a better job than we are.
I think we need to hear more of that.
That's good statements. So you haven't said anything about.
Right, did you, read?
Oh my God, yes. So, right, so it's like, my mantra is we can't have services in isolation and expect generalization. So what inclusion and co-teaching does, it brings that to life. And it's for all learners. It's not just for students receiving special ed services. It's the right purpose, but it's for all learners. It really reduces the student-teacher ratio significantly. Variety of models, typically 5 that can be used, and it can really make a difference for the whole range of learners in a given classroom. Kids learn from other kids. Isolating and having that be our main delivery of instruction is detrimental to kids.
Well, we know teachers learn from other teachers, so.
And we talk about tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. Inclusion and or co-teaching brings that up. That's the services go to children.
And the reason I step in and say it so strongly is because it is not, and can't be posited, or should not be posited as the special education director's plan, okay?
It should be what?
Should not be put forth as the special education director's plan.
Well, that's what I feel like it is, right? That's why I'm
Yeah,
saying I
no,
want to hear.
this is why I speak up very clearly. It's important. This is the district approach and all our schools, okay? And one way to scuttle change or undermine it is to blame it on an individual person. So I'm very, very wary of attempts to do that.
Got it. Heard loud and clear. Middle school, you didn't mention middle school in the co-teaching.
So, so we're in the beginning stages of assessing that out. Right, so it's the demand, so the population is telling us what they need, the demand, and then what do our resources and how can the housing system best reflect that? So that work has started, but as far as implementation for next year, I'm not sure if we're able to do that.
I really focus on the program.
Yeah,
You're saying for this year,
The coming,
for the coming.
coming, yeah.
We start saying this year at this point, because.
it's almost this year.
Taking a while to come.
Sorry.
So it was interesting to hear you say, I mean, it seems like the teachers are working, right? A lot of this is coming from them, ground up, buy-in. But then you hear that this is too fast, so I'm hearing conflicting
Yeah,
messaging. What do you think that is?
so.
I mean, too fast, but you're only doing a grade or two at each elementary. It's not like you did half the
Yeah.
school.
So it's relative, right?
Yeah.
And so that can be case by case and or a collection of people, maybe we'll know more about that. So, well, so to me, my past experience of 12 years at Pentucket, it didn't take me 12 years to build a co-teaching model from K to 12.
How long did it take?
Very
With more money, all right. No, oh, interesting. Okay.
But the outcomes really serve us out. Like,
Yep.
so, and there's a trickle down effect, like the student growth percentiles after 5 years really gain traction because of the model.
I support the model. I think we've had this conversation in the past. We had program go over, and that was my other question. Has program discussed this anywhere to have talk about it? I don't know. Subcommittee. But
Stronger the inclusion model, the inclusion program, like the greater capacity there's less reliance on district
exactly,
programs.
yeah.
But there's always going to be a need for district programs.
Mhm.
So they serve each other, right? And students in a district program, the whole idea is to get them back to the general ed setting. And let's go with what the services are that are also there.
Right.
So they work hand in hand. Doing one is not taking the long view. It's really making sure. And our kids deserve better.
I agree. Any more questions? Okay,
No.
talk money.
All right. Put that in there, please. In terms of staffing, so now we'll talk about the changes that we are doing in order to move forward in this very important area. So $54.2 million budget recommended. Vast majority of the budget is 85%, as we know, goes to salaries and benefits. Reflecting our support of our staff. Prioritizing, as mentioned, student belonging, enhanced special education services, just run programs. And also we're making progress on our goal of building a sustainable financial model by gradually moving grant funded expenditures onto operating budget.
Is it your expectation that we're gonna do this just for 3 years? Or so?
One more time.
Is it your expectation or your projection that we can do this in 3 years here?
I'm not gonna take the
Can't say yet.
blueprint that
Yeah.
I use. I don't think that's fair.
Right,
I think it's important to hear the staff. So first of all, it's what the needs of our population. That's what's driving this.
right.
Because kids first, right? So it's
Yeah.
kids first. What they're telling us they need is what we need to be doing. And then hearing feedback from staff where they
As they
to
go.
build.
Yeah.
And that's really important.
Great, great.
Somebody that wants everything yesterday, so I have to ask.
So, initial steps, measured steps, I don't know how many adjectives I can use, how many modifiers I can use on this, okay? Including program and co-teaching, okay? So, again, adding staff at East Veterans, in West Parish and Beaman, okay? And then also adding more special education teacher capacity at Plum Cove, okay? Now, these are done in a variety of ways. Okay, as we talked about reallocation and also new positions. From the operating budget, okay? There's steps on K-5 reading support. We ultimately want to have a special education reading teacher at all of our elementary schools next year. New positions, we can do it at East Veterans and West Parish. Again, love to go faster on this, but we can only afford so much, okay? And the additional steps on strengthening K-8 described programs. So create, actually really continue the lower elementary emotional behavior program at Beaman, expand that some. Okay, that was at West Parish, okay? And also continue the upper elementary pilot program we had for emotional behavioral disabilities at Beaman as well. So we'll have a lower elementary and upper elementary program there for emotional behavioral support. And then at the middle school, make sure we have an emotional behavioral education program with 2 teachers. And also have a behavior parent as well. We'll also create a language skills program,
So this one's at the.
middle,
Yeah, so that's actually life skills.
life skills, this is why I keep on messing up,
That's okay.
Because, yeah, that's
So it's not
life
language
skills, that's
skills.
why, we gotta change.
The new cohort is life skills, would be a life skills,
And then-
significant need. Is the better way to describe it.
Again, that's life skills program, adult mainly, that's based on students who are moving up from elementary to middle. That's why we have a new program there. Certain special education support and leadership, okay, so you're part of this work, special education is supporting teachers in so many ways. One with IEP development, one with working with families, making sure all the I's are dotted, T's are crossed when it comes to compliance, special education. Setting up meetings, working with that district administrator as well, working with Mike. We are determining that that's gonna be much more effective, in supporting students, families, and staff with a couple different positions, okay? At West Parish, special education administrator and assistant / principal there. Okay, we'll be in charge of the programs there, so the special education background. We have over 10 candidates for that position right now. I think more than a dozen actually. Special education administrator are mailing as well. Okay. Both these positions are conversions of existing program leaders. Okay, so it's not all new dollars. It's a difference between the administrator salary and the program leader salary, which is typically as someone who's on a higher step plus their program leader stipend.
Who's gonna do the work of the program leaders? Are they gonna
The
maintain that work?
administrators will.
The administrators will.
Yes, yeah,
But you're recruiting for these positions.
yeah.
Which means some people may no longer have that
Yes,
position.
yes, but if they've got parental status, they have, right to a job in the district. Yeah, so we'll work with those moves as well, yeah. And then increase the job coach position from 0.4 FTE to 1.0. Again, that's special education support, special education position. And that helps our students get placed into programs or work or job, sort of jobs that they will do now, but also build skills for after high school as well. Okay. This is reallocating positions, okay, so this is where, again, we are reallocating to higher needs areas and higher needs students. Okay, some difficult choices here. We're reallocating 4 classroom paraprofessional positions from Plum Cove, okay? Plum Cove was least impacted last year during the cuts, okay? And at this point, they've got 8. There's 8 classroom paraprofessionals, where a place like West Parrot is 2. Okay, it's a real imbalance between the schools and classroom paraprofessionals, okay? So we're reallocating those and then also another reallocation is from the paraprofessionals, I'm sorry, at the preschool as well. 2 of those positions will be reallocated to those schools, so they're being West Parrot Veterans Mailing, and 1 will be reduced.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
So it says you're reallocating for paraprofessionals from Plum Cove.
Yep.
But then on your 2 pages before that, it says you're adding to, oh wait, I'm talking about West Parish. I'm sorry, so 4 from Plum Cove to West Parish. I was getting West Parish and Plum Cove mixed up, my apologies. I don't have a question.
And then reallocating a teacher and RBT from the emotional behavioral program that was piloted at West Parish this year, just reallocating toward 2 Beaman. Okay,
Where the program is gonna be.
yes, exactly right, yep. And then produce 1.8 professional preschool, talked about that, and then consolidate the program leader position at Beaman and Plum Cove. So in the past, those, the positions at this program leader, positions at Plum Cove also had student responsibilities, student-facing responsibilities, so servicing students. They won't have that anymore. And then also they had assessment, evaluation responsibilities at Beaman and also across the district. So now this program leader will be similar to what we have at East Veterans, which is a program leader who doesn't provide direct services to students. So we're taking some responsibility off of those positions as well as consolidating.
So if there is a child at Plum Cove that needs to be in the behavioral program, they will go to Beaman. So we can even though the program's at Beaman.
For any district program,
Okay.
there'd be a process.
So we might see kids moving around.
For any district program, yes.
Yeah, we see it already.
Programs are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not unusual.
Right.
And then Cove doesn't have any district programs, so there's no space.
Right.
And so they would always be ascending school rather than receiving school if there is in fact a referral.
So what happens if a parent doesn't want their child to go to a different school?
Yeah, so we go through a team process.
Okay.
So the team, so it's all a process. The
Yeah.
team would make, have the discussion, address those concerns, and then the district's responsible for making a proposal, and the parent will be free to reject.
And that's through the IEP process.
Yes, that's right.
So are we losing any positions because of reduction in grants or anything like?
So we're cutting up 1 position at paraprofessional position in preschool. Okay, that's sort of in process because we're looking at that closely to see whether or not, we can, support that.
Right.
In terms of Title I, we are looking very closely at whether we need to reduce 3 Title I positions, teacher positions. Okay, if we need to do that, and we're working on that right now, then those teachers who are all veteran teachers would have access to have rights to a position in the district. It can be voluntary transfer or transfer or involuntary transfer. And we're sort of working that through at the level right now. We expect that to happen.
Right, so we are losing some positions then. And I realize it's, operating versus grant fund.
Right.
But I would love to see for this budget book, kind of where our staff is kind of this year versus next year. In terms of numbers, probably teachers, paraprofessionals.
For school.
For school. And, or, if there's an in and out, whatever way you want to show it, it would just be
helpful to see where we're gaining.
Sure.
And then, to be knowing where federal government where we don't qualify or we just have less grant funded positions, because that's, we count on those as well.
Right.
It's also
Absolutely.
based on where the programs are located too, right?
Yes. So right now, there's more Title I teachers at Beaman than there are at East Veterans, just because of the level of families who qualify, and potential students who qualify for Title I services. But that can shift year to year. Okay, so we're trying to be flexible. We need to be flexible on that as well.
Yeah.
In terms of the budget book, Cody, help me, what level of detail do we go into in terms of the Title I grant and the title grants? In terms of budget book as it stands right now?
There's a section for the title grants. It doesn't necessarily spell out the position themselves. But yeah, it's more of a generalization of salaries, supplies and contracts. It doesn't spell out the people that are on it.
Might want to do that.
The people that are on it, but it spells out the position,
No, it just spells out the
It
salary.
just spells out a budget for salaries. The budget,
so it's just one big number, not
Mm.
broken down.
it's broken down. It's just not to the granular level that we're speaking of. It's just that, so it has, say it's 600,000. 400,000 be salaries, 100,000 be supplies, 50 for service, so on and so forth. It's broken out into the categories that you normally see within a budget.
We don't know how many people are in that, employees are in that 600,000.
Right, no, it
They-
doesn't
they
say,
do.
no.
They do, yeah.
Oh, yeah, we do, sorry, I thought you were talking about in the book.
Okay.
Page am I going to?
I think you're going to page 37.
35 entitlement grants,
Yes,
it goes to 36. Oh, and then 37, you're right.
Yeah, it just would be nice to kind of track our staffing, since, last year we had to reduce.
Yep.
Now we're doing, and now we're shifting, we're adding.
Yeah.
And we're losing, so there's 3 different changes that are happening.
we have the summary of changes as well that spells out a lot of the shifts. It's not necessarily clear cut as to, oh, this was what it was at Beaman, this is what it is now, but
Right.
it tells you what's going on. But
The other piece is, we may be able to hire tutors or paraprofessionals, provide Title I services instead,
To provide what?
Title I services instead. Because we'll have money in the budget, to do so. Which will still get us some additional support that we have, but not to the level of a teacher. We'll do that, see if we can do that. Challenge on Title I and all the Title is that they actually don't come through until the fall. Which is my process. It's always a sort of maybe we should use that one, but yeah. Projection dissipation.
Legal.
All right.
Can be fun.
So this is some revision adjustments. There's a new reallocation, okay. From the table. Anything here? And,
forward.
How,
Oh,
can I just hear from Dr. Jarvis, these staff and position adjustments, how does that impact tier 2 intervention?
Here to mention, so,
I think we took a loss on that,
Yeah.
that's what I'm hearing from staff, I don't know how, I'm not in the classroom.
so, directly in a lot of ways. So what I mean by that is, so for the added teacher and, specs, that will allow us to stay in compliance. So there's that, right? That's good.
Need that.
Never aim for compliance, but, right? There's that. And then it's, so it can help introduce and implement the co-teaching model. So that is a tier 1, tier 2,
Okay.
right? Because it's bringing the services to all
Yeah.
kids, it's not just kids receiving special ed services. So it's for all kids there. The reading service will take the shape of, the nature of that is decoding. So that will have a nature of being in a sub-separate environment, only because it's such a specialized delivery of instruction.
Okay.
It's unique to kids that are grouped together, and it's far different than what general ed population. So So it's still an intervention.
Yep.
Yeah. And also just to give you, I may have mentioned this before, so with foundations, which is a specialized program, it's under Wilson, which is a specialized reading program. It's still anticipated to have 20% of the population acquire additional services beyond that general ed curriculum called foundations. So with that, it's anticipated that we're gonna have kids that are gonna require a specialized reading program. Investing in this helps us do that, to take the pressure off of the other special education teachers, so they can do more inclusive practices, especially as we move forward.
I'd like to add one thing, which is we've lost tier two paras who are doing tier two interventions, okay? In large part because of ESSER. Some degree for last year's budget cuts, okay, but also because ESSER, we added paras or tutors for tier two intervention with ESSER,
Right,
okay?
that we needed, even though it wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, so it's a real challenge, and of course, we cut 20% last year, and we're not billing them all back. Okay, in fact, some of the new business we're having a reallocation, so they're not even additional dollars, okay? So yeah, so there is a challenge, but as Mike said, is this approach, at the same time, some areas adding, some really, significant reading supports as well, so again, it's not, we're not building back all the way from last year. No one should expect that or it's just not realistic. In terms of what we're facing right now. And I would say, point of prior certification, which is required to be addressed by law. Tier two intervention is not, some of those supports do go for certification students, but a lot of them don't. We're not being applied to students with disabilities. Got to make sure we're supporting students with disabilities, as Mike said, clients with IEPs.
Right, so is it your position that we are near close in compliance next year with the highest?
So yes, so
Okay.
it's been corrected, yes, but it's so to be to get the highest yield, right, we need to have the additional stuff. Really what this does, this takes a kind of a systems approach to this. So it's not just getting staff, like throwing staff at it and then chasing services and chasing it. It's a systems approach to what is our population telling us? How can we systematically position our staff in a position of success? And that comes from places, takes the form of inclusion, like co-teaching and then value-added services beyond that. And then beyond that, programs, developing those out. So it's a really systems approach to doing this.
And you feel like there's buy-in?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, there's been a lot of interest, so.
Thank you.
And also folks who are hesitant.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
well, change, right? Nobody likes
Yeah,
change.
Yeah, that's real.
And continue to meet with folks and at the school level and from Mike's and at my level as well, and having anybody who, wants to.
Yeah.
I've got individual teachers, Mike has too, but also his team meetings, again, I'm not trying to say like everyone's happy with all this.
Right.
That can't be our goal.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
But we can make sure that our goal is to support our students
Exactly.
in a systematic way that isn't relying on individuals being heroes. Okay, you gotta have a system of support that working together, support all the students, as opposed to working on an individual basis, pulling kids out, small groups, pulling them out of class, they need to get in that structure as well.
It sounds to me, Mike, that it's, and the systematic approach is the key for me, like it's a prudent systematic approach to utilizing what's available to us to deliver the services that need to be delivered.
Yeah, absolutely.
Putting staff in a position of high yield success.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna go to offsets here, always really excites everybody. Okay, and Gary's gonna take over.
I'll try to make it lightweight. So it's important to note that the goal here on the offset is to come up with the money to support the total out of district transportation cost of 1.550 million. That's what we're trying to do. And it's a combination of our district budget and the general fund. And also a circuit breaker, in this case, is providing $810,000 of the budget. And the rest is being supported by the general fund or operating fund. Those two I use interchangeably. So the total of 1.550 is made up by the sum of the circuit breaker from FY 26 and the general fund budget of $740,000. Now we're going to look at a little bit more challenging one, and that is tuition. As we built a budget for out of district tuition, and it's a lot of it is based upon where we think kids are going to be for the FY 26 school year. And we determined, working with Mike, is that it's going to be at least $7,250,000. So that's our budget. Now, how do we come up with that amount of money to support that budget? We're going to take some money from circuit breaker from two different years. One from FY 25 is when we talked earlier in this presentation, we talked about the circuit breaker balance for FY 25 would be $1,280,000. Here's where we're plugging that number in, as well as we're taking some money from the new circuit breaker that is going to be filed or claimed in FY 26 of $1,020,000. And third, we're going to take money from prepaid tuition, $1,250,000. So these three offsets combined with the operating budget of 3.7 million, those four numbers equal the 7,250,000. And it took four different sources of funds to come up with that budget.
Which it always does, because we always have last year's to
Yeah,
circuit breaker.
right. Yeah, and so we're gonna look.
Actually, to clarify, and first of all, said that you used to take three. So we used to not take the green, on this example, the green row.
Right.
We'd hold that over
Or the
for the
next,
following
yeah.
year.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
but we're still making up for the
the low balance.
disruption based up because of the, the two successive years of just huge growth in cost.
Special ed costs, right. So now we're needing to use the FY 26 or the new circuit breaker claim.
How much did we use last year, do you remember? For the current year, for 25?
I don't remember, but I'll look that up
That's all
for
right.
you.
Not that important.
Okay, so now we're gonna look at the claim. So the claim for FY 26 is a combination of tuition, transportation, and school choice. We do receive circuit breaker money from the school choice that the city pays on behalf of the students that choice out of our district. So that amounts to $3.4 million. Now we're going to subtract the tuition costs from the FY 26 circuit breaker of $1,830,000. So that amount is almost $1.6 million. That's the amount of money that we'll have available that we can carry forward to FY 27. So it used to be that we carried forward 100%, as you indicated. Now, but the claims, we didn't have transportation as part of the claim process. Now, they gave us reimbursement opportunity against the transportation. And then again, with the 2 years of large increases in special ed out of placement tuition, that really increased the claims substantially. The claims used to be like 1.5 million. Now you can see 3.4 million we're projecting. So it's more easy to take a substantial amount because we're still going to be left with about 1.5, 1.6 million dollars. So it's very similar to years past in the amount that we're going to carry forward to FY 27.
So I don't see the stabilization fund money built into this.
Right, the stabilization money is meant for any unbudgeted costs per the statute. So if we have more claims, more students coming into our district,
Or needing to be placed from our district.
or placed at a higher, or needing to be placed at a higher placement cost, then we can petition the city council to use some of that money that exceeds our budget. So it's any monies that
If we budget for it, then we cannot use those dollars.
only
If
unbudgeted.
we put in this budget things we anticipate, okay, and we put that revenue source there, then it's already budgeted for. And it's got an unbudgeted cost we don't expect or just,
Would that include a move-in?
Yes, yeah,
or could, or include additional staff where necessary because of situations of change with a student or students. And they need a higher level of support in our district or outside of district.
so we're
So-
projecting 7.2 million. And if it comes in at 7.5 million, then we'll be able to take that request $250,000. We'll ask this.
That's
school-
out of district costs, or also gonna be in-district costs too.
Yeah.
Not expected.
So we're using circuit breaker money in a way that we haven't in the past, with the exception of last year. We're using fiscal year.
This is the third year we've done
26,
this, right?
third year.
Yeah.
So we're building our budget using that amount from fiscal year circuit breaker. If something unexpected comes up, we don't have to go into any more circuit breaker money. And we can tap into the stabilization fund
Yeah.
money.
Yes,
Yeah, if the costs exceed what we budgeted for.
Yeah.
So when we're budgeting, as I showed you in the previous slide, 7.2 million. 7.2 million for out of district cost. If it comes in at 7.5, we could request reimbursement for 250. Now, also, as Ben mentioned, if we need to hire additional teachers or paras or RBTs
Tutors.
that weren't budgeted, we can petition for that. Anything unbudgeted.
Does that budget have to be depleted to request that?
Right,
Like, do we
just
have
the-
to do transfers and?
We have to document that we're exceeding our budget. So we have to have documented expenses to substantiate that we went over budget.
So we have to be out of budget to tap into that.
Yes.
well, but, in the sense that, I mean, no, because we only
I
have
mean,
the
out of
budget next
budget
year.
based on expenditures through the
And
year.
encumbrances.
Yeah, encumbrances,
Yeah,
For special education. In other
for
words,
special
If
education.
we're underspending somewhere else,
Yeah,
that's
that-
irrelevant to this request.
It's just special ed.
Just special ed cost.
Got it.
Well, and once you
So it
budget
changes every
it,
time
you're
it
kind of
goes.
locked into, it doesn't give you a lot of wiggle, I mean, there's not a lot of wiggle. Budgets on this. I mean, it's kind of clear, I think I understand what you're saying.
Oh, and we always budget out of district expenses based upon who we know,
Yeah,
and that's,
And then we
somebody has a
go-
list of that,
Yeah.
and then you have a contingency for
Right,
any,
so
so if
we'll,
we
right,
exceed the contingency.
we'll have to blow through the contingency.
right.
So this, I mean, it's really, it's good in the way that we cannot control special ed cost. And so this is a mechanism, this reserve, to pay for the costs that exceed our best budget, yes.
As well as what Ben said is if we end up in a situation where we really need more support.
Right,
Staff, there's a
exactly.
mechanism to pay for those funds.
There's no threshold there, right?
No, so it's additional staff.
So if for some reason we're not in compliance due to new draws,
Like
We
move
can
in.
tap in, exactly.
Yeah, medical.
It can also happen with, often will happen with younger students, who are here.
right,
We don't know that well yet,
exactly, yeah.
because, or because they're, moving up in grades and higher demand on them. That's also a place where we often see that we need additional support we need to support. We're aware of, honestly.
Got it.
Okay.
Okay,
Go on.
yes.
Okay, well, now we're going to look at our circuit breaker claim that we intend to file in July. And this would be all the tuition claims for the FY 25 school year. Our projected reimbursement is at 75%. Transportation claims are less than what we had budgeted for this year. That's again, we're projecting 75%. That's if that legislation proves to come to fruition, that would support that budget.
If not, it's
Amount.
44, right?
Yeah, now it's 44.
But you're feeling comfortable that it's gonna be 75?
I think there's been
No. I mean, remember, this is circuit breaker balance,
Right,
so it's not,
yeah,
I don't, I mean,
it's for the following year.
well, I guess when you say
he's more confident,
comfortable,
I'm less confident,
Yeah,
he's more confident, I'm less confident.
yeah, I guess the reason why I'm a little bit okay with this projection is because we still have 1.6 million at the end. If we don't receive as much of, if we don't receive 75%, let's say we receive 50%, it's still gonna leave us money, circuit breaker balance to carry forward into the next fiscal year. So that's why I'm okay with this. Now, and the school choice, again, as I explained, we do benefit from school choice for those students that we can claim. So the total is we're projecting 3.4 million. And then, so let's look at the next slide. We have budget summary. Yeah,
Okay, so just to wrap things up, so this sort of just summarizes the changes in the operating budget. Okay, so we're gonna put the circuit breaker aside for a moment here and just go back to the operating budget. So decrease in tuition, $250,000. So that's managed services programs, okay? And that's just tuition, if not, because we're having increases in staffing, okay? For managed service programs. Contractual obligations, so $1.5 million in additional salaries for next year. Employee benefits, including health and retirement insurance, increase in $367,000. And transportation lease payments, again, this is coming off of grants and onto our operating budget, $373,000. Okay, there's a maintaining building investments and district capacity. So these are, again, the first line there is dollars that are coming off of grants, curriculum materials. That's everything from middle school, high school, and also elementary school specifically, curriculum materials that we use every year. And that could be from consumables to license, software licenses, and also Chromebooks, which are at this point an essential piece of our instructional approach. And then positions, so addition of $240,000 in new positions. So increase $2.725 million. Okay.
Is that positions, the salary and the benefits would be on the other line?
Right,
That the salaries wouldn't be, those are salaries.
salaries are the 240.
Salaries are 240, and then their related benefit estimate would be 367.
Right.
And again, that we are adding other positions or reallocating other positions. That's why it seems like there's more positions changing or being added because some of those are reallocations.
Right.
Okay. And so total budget increase of $2.725 million. Organized this way in terms of the basic categories. So salaries and benefits are 85%, as we said earlier. Contractual services are 10% of the budget, and supplies and materials are 5% of the budget. So you see that's the pie chart there as well. And then this is our year-over-year increases. The second largest increase over the past 8 years at 5.29%. $2.725 million.
She's asking about student opportunity act money, but we've maxed kind of our incremental.
Yeah, so now we're at minimum aid increases. And so that was $225,000 about
Yes,
for chapter seven increase, and that's, so the student opportunity act money is, for us, is sort of leveled out, yeah. It hasn't quite gotten to what the increases we were getting prior to the student opportunity act, which was about 190,000, 170,000, and 70, so there was less than 200,000 typically each year. So I'm still above that. And then also in the budget process, both the House has recommended increasing that amount. I'm not sure, they haven't finalized the House budget yet, and then the Senate will have to do it, and then I'll have to reconcile it.
So if it increases, that money goes to the city or is it coming to us?
Any increases in chapter 70, as we go through the House and the Senate?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the mayor has said, any increase in chapter 7 would come to the schools,
Directly.
okay? I think asking that question on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Because there also can be changes in the state's payment to the city would reduce other parts of their budget related to education. Okay, like school choice reimbursement, for example. I think what we are saying is if there's a net increase on chapter 70, those other payments, then you would get that. I first understood it to mean if there's an increase in chapter 70 alone, we'd get that. But I'm not sure, well, we should ask them for clarification on that stuff.
Yeah.
Make sure that
Oh.
clarification makes sense. We did that clarification.
Next one.
So then this is the budget by department. And this is essentially, if you go to the next slide too.
you have a handout at your, that looks like this.
Your table on that side? Okay,
So it looks like this.
Yeah.
We're gonna ask you to approve this motion. And then the school committee approves this, and we'll publish it in the newspaper. And then we'll have the public hearing on May 14th. And it's required to have the posting in the newspaper at least 7 days prior to the public hearings.
That was 10.
7,
Sure, go ahead.
yeah, I am.
I don't know.
I'll wager. No, I did check it,
You sure?
yeah.
I thought we went through this one year and it was 10.
oh, it'll be up prior to 10, right?
it still will be prior to 10.
Yeah, okay.
Because we're gonna publish this on we're gonna publish this Friday, May
Second.
2nd, thank you.
I know I have to give 10 on my boards when I do public hearings.
Yeah, the schools could be
But
a
the
little
budget
different.
one is by statute, and I thought that said 10. It was more than the regular ones.
Yeah, but look it up.
I will.
Well, but we'll, in either
You know,
case.
either way, you're gonna have it published before then
Yeah,
anyway.
covered.
And then we'll also put the, all the presentations, up on Budget Central, and also the budget book on there as well.
Right,
Okay, which the budget book you have. Okay, we'll add the detail on the, grants. Okay, so we'll have the number of positions and what types of positions they are.
right.
Um,
And this is this year versus next year on the staffing, what you asked for.
this this is FY 25, right?
Yeah,
What
FY 25? This is FY 20, this is
is
the,
our current funding?
yeah, so I would just put, what we have now. It was that.
I'm gonna make a motion that the Building and Finance Committee recommends to the school committee the fiscal 2026 budget as presented in the amount of $54,213,897 be approved for public hearing.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, vote carries.
So I have
That was
a,
easy.
that was a long one.
I have a question in terms of, communicating where we're at with our budget to city council. I always. Okay.
We have another, on the budget calendar, we have another date where we ask the school committee to approve the budget to send
Send to
to,
May.
send to, right.
Okay,
That's in
we're good.
beginning of May, right?
It's
He's presenting his budget Tuesday. May something, first Tuesday in May,
Uh,
presenting his budget to city council.
Oh, the mayor is on this Tuesday, of May?
And then they start up here, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if we have it, I don't think we have a date yet
For what?
we don't have.
for when we go in front of the city council.
So the mayor is presenting to the city council on May 6th. His budget.
Budget calendar.
So what do we need to do before then, if anything? Just get this out on Wednesday?
So, yeah, we don't have a date yet, but if you can reach out to, Claire.
Who?
The city clerk,
Connor, Grace?
Grace.
Grace, May 28th, we ask the school committee to vote to send to the mayor.
May 28th?
Yes,
We have time to. When's our public hearing?
May 14th.
In 2 weeks ago.
Right? You know.
Wow, big one. Oh, so, what would be helpful, even from tonight, what we shared? About anything from education or anything else helpful on Wednesday's meeting. For the committee, but also the public in terms of, the budget discussion. What would be helpful and what don't you want to see again?
Offsets.
Right.
That's fair, that's fair.
And
As long as you guys really understand.
crushed.
No offsets, that is good.
And we know you know it down pat, so.
Good.
I think this special ed piece is big. I'm wondering, knowing we're gonna get public comment on the changes, if there's a way to do our presentation first. In other words, what Dr. Java spoke to tonight was important. And I don't know that that's been said in a public hearing that way, I mean, in a school committee meeting that way. And I just think it would be helpful if we start up our meeting with that conversation, lead into budget and then do public comment.
Up to the committee, I mean, under the chair.
It just seems to me you get information out, right, and address some information that's coming at us,
Hmm.
Right.
and then hear from them. or anyone who wants to speak to special education, because it's my understanding, we may have people speaking to us from CPAC. Right?
Yeah.
So it just seems to me that we have an obligation to put out information before we hear, or do we want to hear and then respond to?
So
Comments.
how about we have public comment at that time for anything not related to
Special education.
special education as it relates to next year's budget.
Right.
Run that by me again.
But how are you gonna monitor that? And stop everyone? We'll
We
figure
can
it out.
also discuss this when you and I meet tomorrow.
Yeah,
Sure,
Meeting.
because I do think it's helpful to kind of, as you say, I think it is important to have that
Information.
information.
So, okay, we'll do, some more deal on special education, putting some of the things we said tonight. And also the process that we'll be working through, working on. And double check to make sure that, I don't wanna share anything, with the, here, and the principals haven't already discussed with their staff.
Right.
Okay, because they're working through things, and my understanding at this point, I think about this is that all their staff, know who's gonna be doing cohesion next year, but I never wanna get ahead of them on that.
Sure.
Okay, but we should be able to present that.
I think also just a, I'm sure we're gonna do it, but some sort of just general overview of the budget,
Yeah.
the high points of the budget.
So that way too, if you're doing a presentation similar tonight, then I don't need to give a budget or building finance update. Right,
Just
so
the
eliminate
update
that,
Yeah, some of the other pieces, right, yeah.
and not be so repetitive with I can't say that, I've heard it from other may have.
Yeah, right, that's a little challenge, you guys.
Right.
Yeah.
So. I mean,
Yeah, I
I
think
thought how
we
you
could-
presented tonight was good.
Yeah.
Just we don't need the.
I don't think you need a subcommittee report to
No, and
Basically
you
saying
don't,
the same
right,
thing
I'm
he
trying to
said.
figure out what we can cut so that we can focus more on what we're doing and less time.
I can talk it through with the Kathy tomorrow, ultimately, what was helpful was the books, you asked a question tonight about special education, okay?
Yeah.
Right,
What I, that's super helpful, first of all. What I'd like to do also, I like to have, so I think based on your questions, we can put together some slides, 'cause I like to be able to see it as well as hear it.
right,
It just helps folks
oh,
understand.
absolutely,
But I think if you like the information we share with you tonight, we can make some slides, basically has that.
Yeah.
So, some of what we've been doing at the school level, some of the work that's been decided in terms of who's gonna be doing it, showing how it's different at different schools because the schools built it, okay? And then also, I think putting forward, some of the things, the strength of it and the importance of co-teaching and inclusion.
right, because this is what will be presented to the city council, right? So what is our message to the city council? We need to start delivering that tomorrow night. In addition to the rest of the committee.
Would you add, then I was trying to summarize it quickly, but.
That was it, I think so, yeah. It's the how, the why.
And Gary, as it relates to the overview of the budget, if there's things like offsets, so we came into this year with circuit breaker, this, we're expecting to come out of next year with that, have it in it.
Light on the offsets.
That was too detailed.
No, it wasn't.
No,
We've
it's
got to
helpful.
share.
Necessary.
No, it's
You got
really
the-
helpful to,
Yeah.
But
the more, I mean,
you guys, this group needs to hear those.
we
Yeah,
do, because there's all
yeah.
things that happen one year that relate to this year, to relate to next year.
Yeah,
And we, as this group, need to follow that, because as that balance goes down, we get concerned. If we're building back the balance, we know we're in a better place.
Yeah, they all interrelate.
Yeah.
One year to the next, they all come together.
But I want to get the co-teaching model to come together. To me, that's the priority, right? So
Yeah,
having that discussion that this is a priority for the district, impacts most majority of the students.
Yeah.
For every student, actually. Because there were expectations when you came into your position that there was gonna be change. And the more we talk about that. And then talk about the cost of delivery of that. It's how you gain support from the city as a whole to go forward. And that's what we really need to feel comfortable in, I think.
Just wish we had a little more money.
Well,
Yeah.
To work.
but that could be next year's conversation, right? So we did it this year,
What
meaning
does it take? to-
fiscal year
right.
26. How do we deliver that same impact to more next year? We need that commitment from the city council and the mayor to continue on this path. To show what success can come from this district doing what you've done in another district.
Yeah. We need, the cities.
You need buy-in
We need their buy-in, huge,
from everybody,
yeah,
staff included,
yeah. I-
knowing that change is difficult.
Yeah, I do have this pulled up, the Mass General Law.
What does it say?
He wouldn't be telling you how to pull up. It's 10 days.
Yeah,
Does it say
7 days.
Okay. Still do 10.
Okay, yeah, we're.
Is that business days or is it?
7 days after annual budget, it says, the school committee of each city, blah, 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 hold a public hearing on its proposed annual budget not less than 7 days after publication of the notice thereof in the newspaper having general circulation.
Hmm.
Even you guys
Scintillating.
circulate on 4 days, not 6 or 7.
And then you have to add the day's notice that the Gloucester Daily Times needs notice to publish. Maybe that's where the other 3 days
Yeah.
comes
Do
from.
they already know about it?
Yeah, I talked to him today.
So that's because they need 3 days notice for a public hearing.
There's, like you said, there's, I have to give them, there's deadlines. The deadlines push it to, like you said, 10 days.
Yeah.
Right.
Adjourn?
Yeah.
Second.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Stephanie.